Hi everyone, it's Amanda. It's the 7th of August 2019 and I have just done a video linked into the Lionsgate and I thought that was it for today, and I cannot ignore the fact that I have got Princess Diana on my back. She just is totally insistent that I come on and say something and bring her through. So she's been with me for a couple of days. I haven't quite understood why the urgency, and it may be linked into a number of things, but I know one of the things that she wants me to talk about. But anyway, before I get to all of that, yeah, we're just welcoming in Princess Diana. I'm not going to do my usual thing of building the rainbow bridge because she's already here. And I've already just done an hour's work with Spirit, so I know I'm completely aligned and ready. And I also am going to a funeral in a couple of hours, so, well, that rainbow bridge is very open, let's put it that way. So Diana, I've done 2 videos. If you haven't watched them, go back onto my YouTube channel and have a look. This is the 3rd video linked into Princess Diana's energy. She was the first one that came through to help me form what I call the Heart Squad. Over the last couple of days, she keeps coming through, and to be honest, I was thinking it's the maternal energy that seems to be particularly needed at the moment by me and probably you as well. I'm looking at her, I've just got her image up here, I've just got this image, okay, that's what I'm looking at. But then I also was thinking, I think it's linked into the fact that all of our hearts are being really stretched at the moment and opened more than they ever have been. She was known as the Queen of Hearts, wasn't she? Interesting, I've got a Beauty and the Beast mug. I'm not saying anyone is a beast, but you know, put 2 and 2 together. There's a lot of revelations going to be coming out about the royal family soonish. That's not really what she wants to talk about today. I think it's linked into the opening of the heart. It's linked into the need for kindness, gentleness, as I've been talking about in a few of my videos recently. But she just said to me, I said, what's the matter, Diana? Because she's coming through in quite an agitated state. I almost want to say livid. And I'm a Cancerian like her, so I understand like emotions that can be very up and down. And I think you don't mind me saying, Diana, do you, that, you know, in your life, you were somebody that was very up and down in terms of your emotions. She's saying, yes, I was. And she's saying we don't change much in spirit. What she means by that is that certain personality traits can still exist, even though you are spirit, even though you don't have a physical body. So her soul can still get she says, I've got quite an excitable soul, for good or for bad, she's saying. And there is something that's happened in her family line over the last couple of days that she wants me to talk about. And she's saying, isn't this ironic? Because she's saying so many of you on Earth are having issues linked into your own family history and your own lineage, where you are being asked to look back at things that might have hurt you and that need to be healed in terms of your parents, in terms of your siblings, in terms of the whole line that you came from. And she's saying, as we as a Heart Squad have tried to say before, there is still healing that exists the other side of the veil as well. It isn't a static place. It isn't just a place where you come after you've died and you have your healing and then you remain almost as an inert object or an inert spirit. She says, as spirit, the other side of the veil, we still heal on a continual basis as well. And so what she's alluding to is, she said to me, I said, I don't know what you're talking about, Diana. You know, it's like, slow down, slow down. I don't understand. Why are you in this heightened state? And she's saying, go onto Google, Amanda, have a look at the first thing you find. So I go onto Google, I look at the first thing that I find, and it brings up an article from the 5th of August, which was 2 days ago, where it talks about her brother, who, let me just read it to you. Princess Diana's brother plans to leave his Althorpe estate to his son instead of his eldest child daughter, Lady Kitty Spencer. And it says, Earl Spencer, Diana's brother, has revealed he plans to leave the Spencer family estate to his son, despite him having an older daughter. In doing so, the father of 7 will be sticking to the archaic tradition of male primogeniture, which sees the eldest son inherit property titles and fortune. Despite the practice being considered outdated and it has been abandoned by the royal family, Earl Spencer sees no fault in it. Speaking to the Sunday Telegraph, he said, "Is it any fairer than the eldest child gets it instead of the eldest male? Whatever you say, it's a selection." Diana's brother may be of this thinking because he inherited the estate over his elder sisters, which included Princess Diana. So here is Diana coming through, and it's like she's putting like her palm up and she's saying no. You know, I don't believe he's ever going to watch this video, but it's like she wants to express how she feels about this. And she's saying that even though inherited wealth and the aristocracy themselves are going to have to face change and disruption of the old order for unity consciousness to come in. She says, I understand that. She was about to say, we understand that, because it feels like she's speaking for them. She's saying, change has to start somewhere. And so therefore, for her brother to be implementing something which is already been outdated by the royal family themselves, i.e. the idea that if you're a male, you take precedence over a female, she's saying this is completely wrong. So she's really livid about it. She's really upset about it. But it's more because there's 2 things she's saying. A, it's about equality of the sexes. It shouldn't be the case in 2019 that any system, any family puts a male over a female. She's saying the female in her family line is the one that should be inheriting that place. And she's saying it's not so much, it's not about money, Amanda. She's saying it's because the divine feminine energy is needed in places of power to bring about the changes that will create a domino effect and ripple down to make changes to every single strata of society, including the very top. And she's saying at the moment, in England, in Britain, the aristocracy have held, it's interesting, Diana, I've just done this video on Lionsgate and I was talking about the apex of the pyramid. Okay, so here we've got the apex, and it's there that the light needs to come in. That's what I was basically saying. And so change needs to come into the top of society just as much as it does the bottom of society. When I say the top of society and the bottom of society, I'm talking about hierarchical structure, which is outdated, outmoded, and needs to change. And she recognizes that. So she's saying change has to come into the aristocracy as well. So she's really upset, basically, about this decision of her brother to give it to the son because of his sex. Is there anything else you want to say about that, Diana? Let's just bring in the Rainbow Bridge spray to help me. She's saying, I think I've made my point. She said, but nobody else was picking up on it. She said, I needed you to say that for me. Thank you. Okay. All right, let's tune into you now. She feels more unsettled than when I last connected into her. And when I say unsettled, I don't mean troubled in terms of that, you know, she's in some terrible place. I just mean that there's a lot of things that seem to be rattling her right now. And I think it's linked into the fact that much of her lifetime and her incarnation as Princess Diana, it's as though she was able to open doorways. She's showing me keys and doorways, and take a little peek into places. And she's saying some of the places and some of the doorways that I looked into, I shouldn't have even seen. I shouldn't have been privy to. She said, but I've always had a nose that was able to scent out what was wrong, what needed to be looked at. And she's saying that got me into a lot of trouble, as you know. We talked about that in my last video. And I think why she's feeling unsettled is the fact that some of the doors that she opened and had a look into, now we as a consciousness in 2019 are about to get the opportunity to not just peek in the door but have a really good look. And there's almost a sense with her of being slightly frustrated, is the word I'm wanting to say, frustrated that she's not able to be there with us, standing with us as we are led to things that are going to be uncomfortable truths. So I guess with regard to this, she's talking about links to paedophilia within the royal family, and conspiracy linked to her death as well. I'm watching what I say in this video, Diana, because I want the video to be put out onto YouTube, and there are certain things I know that if I talk about, I will get I'll get rapped on the knuckles by the powers that were. I saw that, guys, in some of the videos I've done recently. Even my video that I did on earthquakes, and it was like some guidance in terms of protection and warnings with regard to coming earth changes. There's been sabotage basically to those videos, so now I can't put up subtitles as an example on them, so I have to be careful. So please don't get frustrated with me. I'm going to be very careful what I say here. But what Diana's saying that I can say is that some of the things that she looked into when she was alive, the door is about to be bust open, and it's as though everybody's going to be trampling in. And she's saying, okay, she's giving me the analogy of a crime scene. So you know where a crime has been committed, and one of the first rules is that the police or whoever it is that has to go into the crime scene, everything has to be left as it is. Everything has to be left intact. What you don't want is loads of people trampling into a crime scene and interfering with the evidence that is already there. She is saying there is enough evidence there to put for judgment to come on those where it is needed. She's saying what's not needed is lots of people with the best of intentions maybe coming in and interfering with what is already set for discovery. Okay, so I think that's probably very good guidance, actually. She's saying sometimes you can give the opposition what they need unintentionally by revealing your moves. Okay, so it's almost as though those of us on the side of light don't give away your moves, don't give away what you plan to do, don't give away information that can help the other side. She's saying you need to be better than that, you need to be cleverer than that. She's saying, but please understand that from where I am now, I can clearly see that doors are about to be bust wide open and people are going to be caught red-handed. Some of these crimes are historical. and some of them are still going on in this present day. And she says, I will help to repair the hearts that are broken by some of the revelations that are to come. And she says, in truth, my heart was quite broken by some of the things that I saw and that I became aware of. She's saying, I always tried to protect the children, my own and other people's, and I will continue to do that. There's a big energy of protecting children coming from her. This maternal energy that I was talking about earlier, that she's on the side of the children. She's one of the people in spirit that is linking to help protect children and to stop a lot of the abuse that has happened that shouldn't have. Is there any more that you can say, Diana? Anything else you can show me? Yeah, it's along the lines of the sacrifice of innocent blood must stop. Okay. Okay, what else then, Diana? Why are you here with us today on the 7th? Just before Lionsgate. I've just done the Lionsgate video. And that obviously links up to the star Sirius. Were you linked to that in your lifetime? Yes, I was. She says, anyone who holds great light upon your planet tended to have that star shine upon them very brightly. She's talking about the stars and the moon. Of course, she's so associated with the moon. Diana, the moon goddess. She says, everyone associates me with the moon, but she says, the stars, I was always fascinated by the stars. And she says, you know that about me. Astrology, I loved all of that. I loved looking at the stars. She says, I would have liked to have known more and to have studied more. To have been she's taking me back to the times of other royal courts, actually. This is quite interesting. She's showing me like a Russian court. I'm wanting to say Rasputin, actually. She's showing me the Rasputin energy. I think he was an astrologer. He was certainly a prophet. And somebody who came into a court and who helped guide royalty, who helped forewarn. So there's a link there with Rasputin. Why have we got the Rasputin energy here, Diana? She's saying it's almost as though I was looking for that type of figure when I was alive. Not in terms of a lover. Obviously Rasputin was known as a great lover. She's talking about as a mystic, as a guide, as a teacher. She's saying I looked far and wide for people to guide me in esoteric matters. And she says it wasn't a passing fancy, it was something that was very deeply ingrained within me. And I was fascinated by all of that. and I still am. She's saying from where I am now, I can see much wider and further and higher, and I can truly connect into the individual planets and star systems more than I ever could on Earth. She's saying, but people need to understand that on Earth there is so much help out there energetically from the stars, from other planets. If people could only embody some of the qualities of the great planets in your sky. And she's talking about Venus as an example. So Venus is the planet of love and harmony and relationships. If people could embody that energy and really allow it into their heart, allow the codes of Venus into your heart, they would enrich you so much. It doesn't matter where you have different planets in your own chart, she's saying. She's saying it's not that it doesn't matter, because obviously they have a bearing, but she's saying anybody can pull down the energies of all of the planets at any time that they need it. She said there's such rich learning when you start to understand what all of the planets are about and how they can help you in your everyday lives. So talk to me a little bit about the Sirius star then, Diana, the Sirius star, the brightest star. A very expanded place, a place with room to breathe and be and grow, a place where you're not confined by expectation, a place where no karma exists, there is great freedom. A star which is a guiding light for many other planets in your system, some of which you do not know. A place from which most people upon the planet have, at very least, visited. Either physically or in their dream state or both. A regal royal star that reminds everybody of their own royal divinity. That everybody actually is from the same bloodline, which is the bloodline of the divine. That everybody has starlight running through their veins. David said that, Diana. David Bowie. She says, I know. She says, I was enjoying that channeling. Diana, why did you bring all the Heart Squad in? Because it was you that brought them in. I wouldn't have done this work if it wasn't for you. So what was it about? Tell me what this was all about. Was this all orchestrated, arranged? Was it planned in any way? Was it spontaneous? Tell me about the Heart Squad. She's saying our work with the Heart Squad began on Earth. She said most of us had met one another on Earth. So of course we were going to link up in spirit after we died. And there was just this natural inclination to want to come back as a group to help with the what you call ascension process on Earth now. And we wanted to come back as a group, as a tribe, to help to lift spirits, to help open hearts, to help people reach higher, to uplift, as we hopefully had in life. Not everybody liked us, of course, and that is fine, but there's a good percentage that do. Yeah, there are. She says it's been so fun for me watching as each one comes through and seeing their individual personalities. She says I was always a good networker. I always liked networking. I always enjoyed the energy of a team, being with people, seeing the individual component parts, and celebrating people's talents and skills and gifts. She says, I love all of the gifts and all of the talents that each of the Heart Squad have. She's saying you've got the core team now. But she says others will come. And by the core team, she means Freddie, Mercury, Prince, Michael Jackson, David Bowie, George Michael, I missed anyone, Diana? Probably. But others will come. Elvis. He's coming back soon, she says, yeah. She's saying he enjoyed it. He enjoyed coming to chat. She's saying he'd forgotten how nice it felt to be on Earth. She says, I don't want to speak for him because he can speak for himself. But he had forgotten how nice it could feel to be on Earth. She says that's true of a lot of us, actually. She's talking here about the general Heart Squad. She's saying a lot of us had forgotten how good it can feel on Earth because many of us, towards the end of our lives, had great difficulties. Whether it be through illness, she's referring to Freddie and his aides there, or any other trouble. She said most of us had troubles toward the end and it had made life increasingly difficult. She says, but so it's nice now to come back as spirit and be able to enjoy the earth again with people who want to see us, who still want to connect to us. And she says we'll continue to do that for as long as people want us to. She says people have asked why so many members of the Heart Squad so far are boys. She says, I was always a bit of a one for the boys. She's got a cheeky smile. She said, I always quite like male company. She says, so maybe it's not a surprise that a lot of the people that I've brought through or encouraged to come have been men. She's saying, I will do more for the sisterhood. She said, I'll try and bring some girls through soon. But she says, I'm standing up for the girls here. That's why I wanted to come on today. Thank you, Amanda, for allowing me to speak. She says, because I think it's so wrong what is happening with my brother. She says, I love my brother. This is just something that happens in families. She's saying the frustration for me is that I'm not alive to be able to say what I need to say. She says, if I was alive, I would have been on the phone to him about this. He knows that. So she says, this is my way of communicating that it is not right. The old ways of men naturally being put first in line to anything is archaic. And she's saying the reason why I am livid about it is that the rule applies to so many things. Not just my ancestral home. She's saying it applies to jobs. It applies to men that are promoted over women. Men that are paid more than women for doing the same job. She said, I don't like that. It's wrong. She's taking me. she's taking me to William, and she's saying that he has a good mix of divine feminine energy within him. My left ear is going crazy and ringing as soon as I say that, so I know he does. She's saying he hears me in his ear. He literally hears me in his ear. Whether it's a voice or whether it's just a sensation or whether it's a knowingness, a presence, he knows when I'm here beside him, she's saying. And she's saying he listens to me. I'm not sure that Harry listens to her. Is Harry listening to you at the moment? No, she's saying. Okay. But William is listening to me at the moment. But it's that divine feminine energy she's very proud of. She says, oh, I loved what he said about having a gay child. And I don't know whether you know this. It was in, I don't know, it was in the papers a few weeks ago, wasn't it, Diana? I don't know whether it was linked into a pride rally or something that William had been at, or whether it was I don't know, he was visiting a place and he got asked the question. I think he got asked the question by somebody linked into how would he feel if one of his children grew up and came out as gay. And he said, I wouldn't have a problem with it at all. And he said, and she's saying, I was so proud of him in that moment. I was so proud of him in that moment. She's saying, I shrouded him in rainbow light in that moment. Oh my God, you can't see this, guys, but on my window, I've got a white windowsill. I wonder if I can direct the camera around. There's a rainbow just appeared on the white windowsill. Can you see? Can you see it? Hold on, where is it? I wonder whether you can see it. See if I can zoom in. Is it showing? Where do I need to be? It's there. Anyway, I don't know if you can see it. It's there anyway. She's behind. She's behind, and she's wanted to support people who struggle with their sexuality. I'm wanting to say as well. I feel that very strongly. She says, I had a lot of gay male friends. She said they were great company. Okay. Moving off that subject, Diana. Anything else to say today? Not going to be able to make a really long video here. She said, I'm so grateful for your time. I'm so grateful for your presence, Diana. I'm so grateful for you bringing through all of the Heart Squad and for your constant presence. She has like a really steady presence, a very loving presence, very nurturing, very kind, very gentle. All of those things that we loved about her when she was alive, they're still there. I want to say something about because I know it will come up in the comments as soon as this video goes up. There's a boy in Australia who the parents are saying or speculating that he may be the reincarnation of Diana. I can't remember what he's called. He's called Billy, Diana, something like that. The thing I want to say about that is he should be allowed to have his childhood. The other thing you need to understand about spirit is that everybody has a number. Most people have past lives. People also have future incarnations. You can tune into anybody in spirit at any point in their journey of the soul. So, you know, if Diana had a past life as Joan of Arc, I'm not saying she does, but we could tune into that just as much as we can tune into who she was as Princess Diana. If this little boy, as an example, is a reincarnation of her, I'm not going to get into that in this video because I haven't got the energy for it, to be honest. But even if he was, he isn't ever going to be who she was in terms of the person that we relate to as Diana, and he should be allowed to grow up and be whatever he wants to be in this lifetime. So she's saying he doesn't need the spectre of me overlighting his whole life. Show me where you are now then, Diana. Okay, what I'm personally feeling here is, I think last time I connected into her, I had a strong feeling that she did not want to come back. I'm feeling there's more of a pull to come back to the earth plane now, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be immediate. And I truly feel that if she were to come back, she says it's undecided. It would either be into the echelon, I'm wanting to say, of society that she was in to bring about the change there, to finish the job is what she's saying. Or it would be something completely and utterly different where nobody would ever have any inkling. I would cover my tracks well. She says it's there's no middle ground. But I'm getting the feeling from her, she's saying I'm having too much fun where I am at the moment. I'm having too much fun where I am. I'm enjoying myself. I'm feeling free. I'm able to help on a much bigger scale than I ever could when I was in an earthly body. Okay. Any final message, Diana? Today? I mean, it's tough down here at the moment. Gee, it's tough down here. She says, I know it's tough. She says, she says, my heart goes out to anybody going through trials and tribulations at the moment. She says, I know how tough life can get. She says, hang on in there. She's saying if you could see the amount of spiritual help that is pouring into your planet at the moment, bringing about change, you would be astounded. That's interesting. She's showing me like it's an analogy of like a play in two parts, and it's as though we've had the first part of the play, and then she's showing me we are in interval time, and in interval time the thing that we need to do is to keep ourselves as high vibrational as we can, to keep as happy as we can, as joyful as we can, as light as we can, before the second half comes on. And she's saying some of the Heart Squad are also coming back to help it with this interval period, to keep up the spirits of the troops, basically. That's what it feels like before the second half commences. The second half is going to be very different from the first half. And some of the main players that were in the first half of the play, this is collective, will not be in the second half. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to leave it there, Diana, for now. Thank you for dropping in today. It's been nice to do this and just be able to have a little quick chat with you and catch up. And I'm sure we will do so again. So sending you love and appreciation for all you do for us still, and anything you require of us at this time. She's saying no. That's fine. Thank you. I said what I needed to say. Okay. Namaste. Much love, everyone. Hope you enjoyed that little chat with Di. Bye for now.